Back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here with me, and if you're new, I'm Janelle and I'm so glad you stopped by. So in today's video, I'm gonna get started on my Easter decorations. Now my table is full of a variety of things that I found at the dollar store, at Hobby Lobby, the thrift store, and so I've been busy collecting things here and there. But I'm going to prep a majority of my things to get ready for my full reveal, so you'll have to stay tuned for the next few weeks to see what I've come up with. And maybe you can kind of guess what I'm making, maybe not. I'll leave you guessing. And I've got these books. We'll see what we do with that. And so stick with me. I have a couple projects that I'm going to start today and go through step by step. But you're going to want to continue watching the next few weeks to see how it all comes together. So let's get decorating. So my first project, I'm going to go ahead and paint these books that I got from the thrift store. And it was just a hardcover book. I took the paper cover off of it, and it's a super easy way to paint these books. You will see the gold lettering on the spine of the book. Don't worry about that, because once you paint over it, you're really not going to see it, and so it's not really a big deal. I'm using what I always use for everything else. It's my Waverly chalk paint. It covers really well, and that's why I like to go with this. I'm using the plaster. If you go to Walmart, you will see a variety of different colors and shades, and I just haven't ventured out that much. You can definitely find some really fun colors. I'm just going to go ahead and give this a few coats and see how it turns out. I went ahead and printed some wording out of my silhouette, and I'm gonna make sure that it's the right size. I sized it, but now as I'm looking at it, it looks a little bit big. So I'm gonna go ahead and weed it out. I'm using the Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby vinyl. It's not permanent, it's removable. But because this is just decor, it's not going to get a lot of movement. It doesn't make a difference. Hippity. The font that I'm using is DK Lemon. I like this. It's kind of like the Ray Dunn font, but this is a tiny bit thicker. And when it's on there, it's a little bit easier to see. Let me grab my transfer paper. Again, I use this. This is the Frisco Craft transfer tape. I get it on Amazon, and I love it because you can reuse it over and over again. I might need to make these a little smaller. This is a little bit, it's gonna work. Okay, it's time to go ahead and put my words on the books, and so I line it up. And you're gonna rub, make sure you rub it in really good. So all I need to do now is add some ribbon and maybe some jute, and this project will be done. All right, so we are multitasking here today. It's the best way to get these projects done, and it gives time for some projects to dry as well as you're working on some other projects. All right, so my next project is extremely easy and extremely budget friendly, and anyone can do this. I made this several years ago, and it is a candle holder for taper candles from the dollar store, as well as the little glass container from the dollar store. And I use it to hold all my glue gun sticks, and it's been several years and it's holding up amazing. So I'm gonna do one for Easter. So I have my candlesticks and I have some vases here, and I'm gonna go ahead and remove this using my heat gun. If you don't have a heat gun, you can go ahead and use like hot water and soap. That might work really well. So as you can see, it was really simple to get off and you don't have to fuss with it. I didn't hold it in the corner that long, and there's a tiny bit, but it's easy to come off. All right, so there's two ways you can do this, and I'm not in a super rush to get this done, because I'm gonna let it sit for a while, because E6000 does need to sit for a couple hours or even overnight. And so you can use, if you need these quicker, you can use hot glue, and that's the quick set, and then the E6000 will take longer. But I'm gonna go ahead and use my E6000, just put it on there and let it just sit. You wanna make sure you center it, and that is it. Super easy. Anyone can do it. You don't have to be super creative. Think, well, I'm not that crafty. You can do this. I'm gonna make sure that you wipe your E6000 good, or else you cannot get the lid off. Okay, so these are not 100% dry, but I'm gonna go ahead and fill them up. I'm not gonna move them a lot. I bought this moss from Hobby Lobby, and you're not gonna need a lot. And moss is very messy. But, so I'm gonna go ahead and just fill in the bottom of this vase. And again, you can pick and choose whatever moss you want. If you want to use a color moss, if you want to use like a natural moss, you pick what works for your liking. I got this little bag of eggs at Hobby Lobby. These were $5.99 and they were 40% off. So all the spring Easter is on sale at this time. Just a super simple way to dress up a glass if you wanted to have this for your centerpiece. Again, very inexpensive. This cost me $2. The moss cost me $5 for the entire bag, but I barely used any, so that'll work for a variety of different projects, as well as the eggs. They were on sale, and you can change up the color. I might change it up, but depending on what your decor is, this would be perfect. This perfect for a centerpiece or for your hutch. All right, for my next project, I found these little square signs from the dollar store. I'm not really feeling the insides of that. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out, and I have some vinyl wording that I created on my silhouette, and I found these adorable, adorable carrots from the dollar store that I'm going to use for this as well as for another project. And so stay tuned. Alright, so we are going to go ahead and get rid of this little panda, and I'm just going to rip it off. So initially I was going to paint it white, but I think I'm just going to find some scrapbook paper in my stash, and that way it's just place it in there. So let me go do some digging. I found this celery color paper, and I'm just going to cut it to size. It's about 4.5. I'm going to cut it on the bigger side. That way if I have to trim it, it'll be easy to trim. It's alright, it's a good fit. And I'm going to go ahead and put my vinyl on before I put it in there. That way I'm not having to fight with the walls. So I'm going to go ahead and weed this one out. The font that I used was Alone on Earth for this project, as well as the second one here that I'm making. To glue the paper down, I'm just going to use Mod Podge. You can use hot glue if you want. I just don't like how the glue gun, you know, has big old globs of the paint. So that's just a personal preference. So I'm going to go ahead and just put some Mod Podge in here. I'm kind of second guessing the choice color of my paper, but we'll see once I get everything. At this point, I mean, I could cover it up if I really don't like it when it's out on my tray. So we will see. I'm going to use the hot glue for my carrot to get that in place. But this is, again, this is a super easy way to kind of take a dollar store item and spruce it up. And that is it. How adorable is that? So before I get into my next project, I kind of wanted to show you how my flowers are turning out. If you tuned into my spring cleanup outside, you'll see that what I planted and what I did. And since then it's been kind of cold, and today is kind of overcast and rainy, but I'm loving how everything's coming so full and in bloom, and it's beautiful. Back to my project. So I saw this technique of burn wood on YouTube, and it just looked so much fun, and I have a project in mind coming up in the summer, but I wanted to practice with it and see, you know, how to work with it, because you're using a torch, and it could, you know, it's fire. It's kind of intimidating. So I have these scrap pieces of wood. I honestly don't remember the size of it, but if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, I'm sure you can find something nice and thick. And so I cut my wood down to 24 inches long, and I have 3 pieces together, and I'm gonna glue them together, and I'm gonna show you step by step how I did that. And it's just a simple tray for my table, and I can use this for any season. I'm gonna use it for my Easter decor, and I'm gonna show you how I did it. So I have my 3 pieces here. This is, I just burnt these, and this I've sanded down. You'll notice it's kind of muted, but you can still see the grain of where it was burnt. And then you can pick and choose how dark you want it or how light, and it'll depend on how much you stay in one spot. I just held it right here a little longer. So I have 220 grit sandpaper. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a sand, and we'll see the finished product. So you'll notice that I burnt the sides on this side. I did not do it to this side because I knew this was gonna be my middle piece. And then I went ahead and burnt the sides on this as well as the back. You might want to do all sides because you might like one side better than the other, and that's your choice. I think I like this side better. And I think it just came out beautiful. The side's a little darker. And so I'm gonna go ahead and, this is all scrap wood that I have, so it's not costing me anything to make this. So that is a plus. I'm going to go ahead and put wood glue and glue them all together. Make sure that you're cleaning any glue that is oozing out. So I'm gonna let this dry probably overnight to make sure that it's really on there good, and we'll come back. Alrighty, so I'm gonna put these little wooden beads as legs. This has not cost me a dime because I had these in my stash. This was in my garage. The burning, I already had the tools to do this. I love how it doesn't, these fun projects are not gonna cost me that much. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a dab of hot glue. I didn't put the clear coat on there yet. I wanted to do the legs first. You see the reflection. I have a glass table cover to protect my wood, so you see the reflection. But I'm loving how this came out. I'm gonna go ahead and use this finish. This is something I had in my garage that I've used for other projects, and I'm gonna go ahead and give it a nice even coat. quite sure yet if I'm going to do a second coat. I'm going to let this dry, see how it does, and then we'll take it from there. All right, and here is the finished products of all the things that I made today. I'm loving how everything came out. I still have mixed feelings about the color of my little signs, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and leave it. Everything turned out wonderful and budget friendly, and that, my friend, is what counts. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and look forward to the next few videos coming up to display more Easter. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you in the next video.